Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be ranting about the headphone jack and headphone adapters or dongles, whatever you want to call them. And the reason why is because I'm just pissed off that Apple has just been so stubborn to not add a headphone jack back for so long. Because if they just fucking did that, a lot of Android companies would just probably add the headphone jack back to their phones. But no, Apple doesn't have headphone jack, so no, we need to get rid of it because we want to be like Apple. It's so annoying. I hate it so much. Because my phone doesn't have a headphone jack, and that's the reason why I need to take a gamble with dongles. And the reason why I'm saying take a gamble is because I got 3 dongles recently, one pack of 2, and just this other one. And I got that pack of 2 yesterday, and it worked terribly. It did not work properly at all. It didn't even work half the time. Sometimes it would just cut out audio and then cut it back in randomly, or cut it back in. I would just cut out audio and then just, work again. It was weird. Other times it would just be even more weird. It will just make this, like, the sound super tinny and just have a bunch of audio glitches. It was weird. It was fucking odd. And then other times, there was so much white noise, it was so apparent. There was even more white noise than this thing that I also complained about in my Moondrop 2 First Impressions video. And it had even more white noise than this. So, yeah, that's fantastic. And if you don't know what white noise is, it's basically just the static that you hear with, like, low-end equipment. Yeah, that happened with this. And these, with a lot of low quality dongles or like random random brands from Amazon. Yeah, that happens with a lot of them, and it happened with my phone 3 separate times, which is real fun. But at least this one like worked consistently. Like, yeah, it was pretty distorted on high volumes, and again, it had that fucking awful noise. But at least it didn't randomly cut out and randomly make it sound super tinny. At least it didn't have that. But yeah, that new pair did have that, and I just returned it. So yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It wasn't that hard to return it, thank God, because Amazon is very, very generous with the returns, which I'm very happy about. But even then, it's just more wasted time. And I did get a new dongle. I just ordered a new one. I just got one new dongle, and I spent way too much on it. I spent $15 on one single dongle. But I just spent that money for convenience and because it looked okay. And people said online on like Reddit and stuff that it had a decent or a decently high quality DAC chip. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't have noise. And I have an Apple dongle. And the reason why I've held off from talking about this is because, for one, I talked about this in my first impressions of the Moondrop Chew video that I did. But also, just because this also ain't a great dongle, if I'm going to be honest, with Android phones. With Apple phones or like a PC, it might be different, but with Android phones, this doesn't work properly. It just doesn't have a lot of volume at all. Unlike the highest volume, I can get to a decently comfortable volume, but even then, sometimes I just want to crank up the volume more for, like, just some albums where it's just quieter than others, and I can't do that. And I can't do that because the audio gain on this sucks with Android phones. It just doesn't work properly. I don't know why. Maybe just Android phones aren't compatible with the Apple chip inside this. I'm not sure. Or the DAC inside. I don't know. But the point is, it doesn't work, and that's all that matters. It doesn't work as intended, which is pretty annoying. There are apps that you can get to allow this, this like high gain feature. And I did get one, but for some reason it didn't really work. It just didn't play audio out of the jack for some reason. I got the USB Audio Player Pro, which is what a lot of people recommend. It just didn't work properly. I don't know why. But yeah, it's just a bummer that it just doesn't have very high volume. And another thing, it will just like randomly pop and crackle, and it will just like just randomly pop and just make these crackling sounds for a little bit. It's not that noticeable, if I'm going to be honest. I'm nitpicking a little bit, but even then, it's still kind of audible and just really gets on my nerves. So all I want is just a dongle that doesn't distort, that doesn't have a bunch of like noise interference, that doesn't have a bunch of connection issues, and just doesn't randomly pop and crackle and have like bad audio gain. That's all I want. And it shouldn't be that hard to get like a good dongle, but apparently it is. So if the one I'm getting now that has reportedly accordingly like a decently, according to some people, like a decent DAC chip, and that one doesn't work very well, I'll just get like a name brand one, like a Google one or an Anchor one maybe, and that'll be it. And if that doesn't work as well, I'll fucking get like a BTR5 probably, if I'm gonna be honest, because that most definitely will probably work. And it's overkill, but I also kind of just want to make IEMs Bluetooth as well. That's also just something I want to do because it just sounds cool, and it just sounds fun, and I haven't really experienced that before. So I just want to try something new as well. So if none of these dongles that I'm planning on getting work properly or work that well, I'll just get a BTR5. But I'm just hoping that they actually work. That's all I want, just one that works. I don't want like a perfect one or the most high resolution, DAC. That's not what I want. In fact, I think a lot of this like high quality DAC, like this one will sound warmer, or this one will sound clearer, or not clearer. This one will sound like higher in the high frequencies. It will sound like clean. No, I don't think. I think a lot of that is just snake oil and marketing. I think like a lot of the high res certified stuff is also kind of is also kind of marketing gimmicks. And you probably won't be able to perceive it that well. Like sometimes it might have higher dynamic range, but as I've stated in other videos, I think a lot of it is just marketing and snake oil, just designed to get you to buy it. But yeah, that's basically it. But obviously you also don't want like a shitty DAC, because again, it'll have that awful noise that I've already explained, which is why I got a decently expensive dongle to hopefully get a decent DAC. Because that's all I want. Just one that doesn't have noise, that doesn't have like perceivable noise, and just works properly and doesn't have awful audio gain as well. But that's going to be it, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.